Sup guys, and welcome back to another T-Pose development video. In this video we're doing more roads. I apologize, this will be the last video for roads for a little while. Then we're getting back onto actually like making assets and interesting looking content. So, let's get right to it. Let's build some roads. So, I've been adjusting some of my road models inside of Maya and getting road lines into the game, and if I zoom all the way out here, everything's actually looking pretty good except for a few little instances of things, but it's looking like roads, which I'm pretty happy with. However, I've been coming across a few issues that I knew would come back and bite me, and let me go through a few of these. So, I've been mentioning my procedural texturing, which is just world space UVs, as it's called. If you look at the texture on the road, like this sort of grit happening up here, it all tiles correctly. Like when I stretch and pull models, it's all very consistent, which is great. However, you'll probably notice that my lines I've got here, they're stretching with my road piece I got here, which isn't so good. And the reason being is I've swapped over to a system where, if you think of like a picture that you draw in a program or whatever, just imagine it's a picture, a photo or whatever. I've stretched it across this tile here. And this is 1-to-1, so imagine the picture's like this whole plane right here. This whole piece, like 10 meters by 10 meters. And these lines are all perfectly straight. This is how I made them in my, like in Photoshop. However, once you start scaling this piece, you can see that it actually starts to stretch out and crush inwards, as you would expect from an image, right? If it was stretched across, if you used to grab like a photo of you and your friends or whatever else, I don't know, and started like pulling it out or rotating it or anything like that, it's going to start to skew, right? So the same issue is happening here with these pieces. Now, if you remember last time, I came across an issue where I had these corner pieces and they weren't quite straight, and I didn't quite explain why. Like what I was kind of mentioning might be a problem. But everything was working out because I didn't have any road lines before, so I could stretch and pull and just fill in any gaps that I wanted. However, now that I've got actual lines in the road, you can start to see that here, so what happened, just to recall, was I've got a bunch of these chunks, right? But it turns out these corners here aren't actually like fully symmetrical on each side. So I actually ended up with a little piece that I needed to fill in, like a little short piece here. So I thought I'd be clever, and I just grabbed one of these pieces and crushed it into the right shape, right, and stuck it in there. But now, as you see, like the lines, they don't continue on. They're all correct, and then here they go like whang and like sort of crush inwards, which isn't so good. It looks weird. Ignore these fatter pieces. That's another issue. Essentially, I've got these lines on a separate model, and on the corner, obviously that model is a lot fatter, so I've got to align it with the rest of my road, but that's reasonably easy to fix. This problem, on the other hand, is a lot less easy to fix. It's going to require me to rebuild these corners and stuff, but I am going to I'll fix this issue, but I'm going to move on for now, and leave it with these sort of janky pieces for the moment, because I want to keep this content fresh and keep working on new things. I don't want to keep putting out videos of me working on a road, because roads are more a necessity rather than something that's really that interesting. But just look at these straight bits here and everything's working out just fine. So beyond that, we've got another issue starting to appear here, which is I actually went and looked at some actual roads in New Zealand instead of just working off my memory, and things are a lot different than I remember them being. You'll find out with a lot of things in life, I guess. So I went and looked at a road. Let me pull this across here. You can kind of full screen it for a bit. This is one I took when I was driving around somewhere in New Zealand. I can't remember where it was. But if you look at the road here, you can see that the lines, let me just open it up so you can see what I've been working on too. You'll see that for one, here's the thing I missed, roads actually have like a line that runs along the side of them. Two, my lines are really, really fat compared to real lines. Looks really weird because of it. Three, I missed reflectors on the roads. And lastly, it seems that roads work in this kind of way. So what I've got is I've got a line, and then I've got that exact same line's distance of negative space, in other words, no line, and then I've got a line again. But if you look at the photo that I got up here, it seems more like there's a line, and then there's 2 lines worth of distance of negative space, as in no line, and then that repeats on indefinitely. So I've got to build my texture to work like that, and setting up these patterns inside of 2D paint programs is actually a lot trickier than I thought. So I'll work at that and figure something out, and then I'll stick some reflectors on it, because the reflectors could give it some nice little, I don't know, modular detail, just a little bit of extra stuff. So here's another thing too. So not all roads, this is a bigger road, it's like 2 roads in a row, have like a little they don't normally just go like gutter and then you've got it's called sidewalk or pavement or whatever. Instead you'll have these big blank spaces. So I might make a separate road where I've got a big blank space on the side too, so I can have like a lip that has grass on it or something like that, just in the future anyway. But for now, a lot of generic streets do have this kind of setup where you've got a road, you got a gutter, and then it goes straight onto pavement. So I'm just going to keep this for now and then move on. So the next thing I'm going to do from here on out, I guess, I'll skip to me fixing up and showing my lines in a second, but I'll probably get onto building a little town. I'll show you like a little map I plan on building up and explain where I'm going to start, and we'll go from there, I guess. So be back in just a minute and show you where my lines are at. Okay, I'm back, and so an additional piece of information here that I just came across. Turns out some roads are just completely different and work in different ways. So if I pull this across here, this is from Titirangi from Google Images, an area that was close to where I used to live back in New Zealand. You can see that sometimes lines in the middle of the road are just straight, with no gap. Now, I can't tell if there's a reason for this. It's also possible that it's just human error, or maybe their boss just went, hey, do some road lines, do whatever you want. I have no idea how road lines work. Road lines, sorry. I tried looking up if there was any kind of specifications as to how they work, and nothing would show up on Google, so I've got nothing to go off here. But I guess I could just pick some randomly, and just some roads will have straight lines like this, and other roads will have the gappy ones. I've also noticed, this also, again, might be coincidence, but on faster roads, it seems lines are longer, and I don't know why, but maybe there's a reason for it, but that's just yet another thing I've came across. So, again, I can never tell, it's tricky when you're doing 3D, if certain things are random human error, or if they are purposeful or not. A lot of the time, surprisingly, they are actually purposeful, but in these instances, I'm not super sure, so I'm just gonna go ahead and make whatever looks cool, I guess, in this case. But I'll try keep researching and find out if there's any actual like meaning for why these things work like that. If anybody knows, let me know. But I can't find any information on it just yet. So that's just another pointless little tidbit of information there for you. So I've changed my lines on these roads here. So one of the issues I've came across is, so I've got my lines correct. We've got that double gap going on that I was talking about before. However, I've noticed that a lot of roads have actually got like a lot of lines going along the side, right? So I thought that was just like a simple white line, but it turns out it's not. Sometimes they can be double lines. Sometimes roads can actually be quite a lot larger than this. This is actually a very thin road. I never came to realize after I drove around on Google Images a little bit, and yeah, it turns out a lot of roads give you a lot more leeway than this. So this is already pretty good, right? Like, this is wide enough road. It's not that tight. But a lot of the more main roads that you drive along in life are actually like almost like an extra half meter wide, which would, for gameplay reasons, probably make these roads a lot better to drive on. This would be a cool side road though, still. But I'm trying to pick up on a lot of these sort of weird nuances that go on in life, where some roads are big, some roads are thin, so on, and kind of differentiating them a little bit. It makes certain streets feel a little bit different to each other. I've also come across the issue of Some roads don't just have that straight white line. They'll either have nothing, or sometimes they'll have double lines, and they'll have all different kinds of things, like bus stops and all kinds of different stuff. So I'm probably actually going to have to either keep these and build alternate versions in the future, or some other kind of system for sorting out that kind of stuff going on. For example, another thing is you can have like the center lines that are white, and then the side lines are yellow, like don't park here kind of thing. And that's gonna cause me to have to rebuild a bunch of my systems. So for now, again, I will probably just leave it as is. You know, this works for now. It looks like a road, right? It's close enough. And I'll get onto building some more stuff, because I don't just want plain roads and so on. I want a bit of an environment going on. But yeah, for the future, that's a thing I plan to come back to. Because there's all kinds of like crazy stuff that go on in real life when it comes to roads. They're quite interesting. Like, you know, signs for like stop signs for like wait here till traffic goes past, or traffic lights, or there's what else have we got? Like different road speeds recommendations. You got different speeds on corners that people recommend, and I don't know, a lot of the different kind of stuff that, you know, when you go to build a game, you don't really think about, but I feel like it always makes game worlds feel a bit empty and fake when people don't add them, and I've noticed people generally don't. So it's something I want to put a little bit of effort into. But you know, that's for me anyway. That's personally what I feel adds a lot to a game. So in the future, I'll come back and add this stuff, but for now, I think I'm done with the roads. As you see, they're all they're looking consistent now, consistent enough at least, as is. And yeah, I don't know, you can drive around these and have a bit of fun. So I'll come back to them in the future again, but for now, time to get back to actually building some more content. So let's get back to that. So I'm back. It's actually been a few days since I did the last clip. Many breakdowns have happened. I was very concerned about how to build out my levels. I was really worrying. Those roads before were taking me a long time, and placing them was taking a long time. So I was starting to panic a little bit, because I wasn't sure how I was possibly gonna get a level done. However, my new god Raul has descended down from the Unity asset store and gifted me with a cool new tool that I bought. He didn't give it to me for free, but it's this 3D Easy Roads or something it's called. Let me just, I don't want to get the name wrong. Easy Roads 3D. So this thing's documentation took me a little while to figure out, but one of the features that grabbed me right away was the ability to take, what's it called, like OBS data? No, that's what I'm recording with. OB something data. It's essentially, oh wait, here we go. OSM data. So, what it is I essentially went over to this OpenStreetMap thing here. It's like Google Maps, but more detailed on like houses and all that sort of stuff. So, I was able to grab like a little area. This is the area I sort of want to build. And I snapshotted this little spot, and I was able to plug it right into this program, and it generated a bunch of roads. Now, up close, these things look pretty wonky. They didn't do any of the connections correctly. You know, wow, this is looking beautiful, right? But this is a great place to start. Like, now I can actually visually see what level's gonna be, and what, you know, drive around it and see what is not very fun and what is fun. So, already a thing I'm starting to notice is this level, it's too large. It's gonna be really hard to optimize, and I want to pack the area full of content. I don't want just big blank zones all around the place. So what I'm gonna do is sort of, as I build out these areas, start shrinking out sort of little spots that just aren't little fun areas. Like for example, this oh my gosh, where's my mouse? This little area here could be fun, but you know, do I really need this little dead end road here, or this dead end road? Or perhaps I can grab them and merge them together and have a few other branching things come off them, or maybe I can have a jump from this road to this road. Now that's looks like nearly like half a mile there. That's quite a large jump, but essentially like playing around with stuff like that, like weird jumps or rivers you can jump into, or anything to sort of help traverse this area a little bit faster. So I'll probably condense this down a lot more, but this is a great place to start. So really what I want to build is this main road here, and this is an area from my childhood that we've driven past millions of times, and it's a bit funny at the moment because it looks a bit condensed, but got a little photo over here, and this is what I'm going to be building first. So here we go, Old Don Buck Road. So this is a little street. I'd come from this end over here. I lived all the way down at the beach, out in the middle of the forest, and we'd drive up here, and this is sort of where all our shops were and things. So yeah, just sort of building out this area is my first original plan. So I've already actually got that the little corner store / dairy area over. I built a bunch of tiles if you saw my past videos, but there's a few other interesting buildings here that I'd like to build, like this weird circular thing, or maybe a few generic houses and a gas station, of course. And I think there's like a pizza joint and another gas station. I don't know why there's two right next to each other, but you know, they do that for some reason. And yeah, just really starting to build this place out and see what's fun, building a few ramps and things and see how it all works, because I'd love to be able to drive a car over all these roofs and so on. So that is my plan for now, and this tool will really help me out. So it's got a lot of cool little features that I've came across. Let me quickly open it up. I'll just show it up real quick. Probably screwed up already. Where did I put it? Right, here we go. So this thing just allows you to essentially draw. Please, I'm trying to show you off, man. Just help me out here. I gotta do. Here we go. No? Wow. Okay. Apparently, it won't let me draw on here for some reason, which is rather frustrating. But okay, imagine being able to draw a line in like a 2D program. It will then draw a road along that line and sort of mesh it out. So these things were originally all these sort of, they're called curves inside of Unity, or maybe something else, but whatever. They're called curves in 3D anyway. And essentially you can bend them around, and your geometry, when these are all built out of geometry, will sort of form to those lines. I wish I could draw it out, but I don't know why it's not working at the moment. Of course it's not working as soon as I want to make a video. Please. Add new object. Shift click to add markers. Maybe it just doesn't like me doing it over on this terrain here. I'll try it over here. Oh, here we go. So as you see, oh jeez, I don't know why that's happening. Roll, dude, I need some help. What's your tool? It's freaking out a bit. I don't know why that's happening. Fuck it, whatever. Let's leave it like this. So, this thing is pretty cool, because you can come up here and grab these points and just pull them around and form whatever shapes you really want. So this is going to be absolutely amazing for typing out tracks and like figuring out what really works. For example, a thing I've already started to notice when driving around. So actually, I'll pop into game view and drive around for a little bit and talk about it. But oh wait! I can't simply jump into the scene. Let me grab my keys to my car. Vroom vroom. Okay. So let's just find a road here. So I've already noticed a thing that I don't quite like, which is this car, for one, slows down very slowly, which is not super useful. But because I've now got more realistic length roads, unlike before, I find that the car can get up to speed a lot too fast. Like, you end up with these kind of boring sections where you just hold down W / forwards, and then you get to a corner and you have to slam on the brakes because your car's like gained way too much acceleration. But holding down forwards that entire time wasn't exactly interesting in the first place. So I was going through possible ideas like, should I widen the roads? And that's a possibility, but then things won't really feel like real life, right? And that's kind of like a thing I want to go for. I want it to feel like not real life in a way, but more like you're a naughty street racer. You know, you shouldn't be driving around these roads fast. So I want to keep things at correct proportions. But where I think this gameplay will shine is if I shrink these maps down a lot more and don't have as giant straights and stuff. Instead make it all about like handling around corners and stuff instead, because I personally find a lot of that more fun. I feel a lot cooler when I'm drifting around corners and stuff. he says is he's absolutely terrible at drifting. But that's my plan anyway for now, because for one, condensing it down will make it more optimized. It'll be quicker to build because I'll be able to, you know, there's less to make, and I can just pack in the content a lot more, which is gonna make a giant difference too. Because I'd rather my levels be like filled with stuff rather than empty and blank. So yeah. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with what's came out here. Obviously, it doesn't look fantastic. I will replace a lot of this stuff, but this tool has like a lot of promise. It's just when you import the data in, you get some kind of weird stuff happening like this, so I'll come along and replace a lot of this stuff. But yeah, this road stuff has been driving me absolutely crazy. I had no idea like quite how hard it was going to be, but this tool was, you know, a massive help. It made me realize this was possible again. I was starting to freak out. So I will cut the video here, and I'll catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.